Right. So this is where we're at now. I've done all of the cabling, at least the initial cabling. I put in the DI2 wires. I chose to use these two instead of this one on the side. I think it looks cool. I've done all the DI2 wiring down to the bottom bracket area, and as you can tell, you're able to put them up inside the frame. It was one of the things that, what you see on the top is the rear brake hose. I was afraid the first time I did a DI2 wiring to see if I could fit the bottom bracket in there, and it's actually not an issue at all. It's very simple. And then you put in the press fit bottom bracket afterwards, and yeah, I'm really sorry for the greasy fingers on the frame set. I'm gonna clean that up, but it's just all the hydraulic fluid. As you see, the battery is still hanging out here of the seat tube, and I'm a little unsure exactly how I'm gonna make sure that it stays inside the seat post here. But my idea and my thought is that I'm gonna wrap the battery in like bubble wrap like this, or some of that heavy duty wrap that you get the frame set in, and that's what I'm gonna try. I think it's gonna stick in there. It doesn't require a lot to make it stick, so I think and I hope that will work. One thing though, when you do your cabling, I would highly recommend, it's not the brand thing as such, but get one of these cabling kits. It just makes life so much easier. You have like this little wire, and you can see there's a magnet as well, and it's just you got one for cables and hoses, and you've got one for DI2 wires. It's just so much easier. It really makes everything so much easier. So get one of these. They're pretty inexpensive. I think it's like probably $15 on AliExpress, something like that. They're very inexpensive. The way I put in the barb and the olive is I use this strange little tool to, you put these two parts together like so, and then you put the hose in between. Sorry for the greasy fingers also, by the way. But you put the hose in between, and then I just clamp it down with a set of pliers, and I beat it in with the hammer. It's relatively simple. You beat in the barb, and make sure that, from my experience at least, put the olive on the hose first, and the little, you got like a little nut that ties everything into the caliper, like this little nut right here. Make sure that you put them on the hose before you beat in the barb. I've certainly realized that sometimes the hose expands so much that you cannot really get it in. So that would be my recommendation. So the next couple of jobs is getting the seat post thing to work. We'll give you an update on that. And then we're gonna put in the press fit bottom bracket. It is pretty simple. I've done it now. This is the third time I'm gonna do it, and it is pretty simple. What I usually do is I coat these ends in carbon grip to make it seat to the frame better. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but that's how I do it, and it always goes in relatively simple. You have these. You tighten it on both sides, so it's pretty simple. I'll show you something of that. So very excited to get the crank on, because then it starts to look like a bike. Then I can put the chain on and everything, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. A couple of the mistakes that I did this time was, first of all, I forgot to take out the brake pads and expand the pistons before I did the bleed of the brakes. Don't do that. Make sure that you do that first, because otherwise it's just not gonna tighten things in sufficiently. And secondly, I didn't notice that this little nut wasn't sufficiently tight, so the brake fluid just trickled down this hose. So don't make that mistake like I did. And one thing that I constantly do is I have these little grommets things that goes into the frame to kind of keep it neat, where you put in your tubes and everything. And I almost every time I forget to put one on. So remember that. It gets better with experience. Now, the junction box, it's just, as you see, taped on at the moment. What I'm thinking of doing is getting one of these little, you get like, it's a very thin, like spacer kind of thing that you can put it on. It works extremely well. I've done it on my my road bike, so that's what we're gonna do. Set up the shifter hoods roughly where I think they're gonna be. It looks kind of cool with the flare. I'm not used to that, but hey, it's a gravel build, so that's what we're gonna do. Right, I'll check back with you when you'll see the next step when I've had the battery put in, the bottom bracket, and the crankset on.